Hello, everybody. Hello. We are back. Um, Today is day 2. They did push into their window just a tiny bit. Not much, but just a tiny bit. Um, from what I'm seeing here, they are starting their stream at 6. Okay, that makes sense now. 6:58. So, about 6:58. Oh, that's my time. Okay. Never mind. I was about to say, hold on. That's not That's not nominal, but no, we got a bit. So yeah, I do want to point out, may switch scenes. Hi, how we doing? There we go. Okay, I'm wearing my Starship hat. I'm wearing my Starship shirt for good luck. Skies here are clear-ish. Um, I don't know about there. Jesse Anderson posted 2 minutes or 6 minutes ago. I don't know um, if you know who that is. That is one of the commentators for the Starship launches. Um, keeping our eyes peeled on the weather. So they currently are in that um, pre-propellant load sort of time. Um, we're not too worried. By we, I mean the SpaceX community is not too worried. They can do this. The weather, I do have to take a quick look at the weather. The weather does not look too bad. I am looking at a lot of weather sites though, so weather is not looking too bad. But yeah, clouds doesn't seem too bad, but again, um, that's not what our eyes are showing us, to say the least. So, I would say we give this a little bit, and if yeah, I'm just not even gonna say anything because I want this thing to launch. I know you guys all want this thing to watch or launch. So, yeah. I do have a couple of updates on my side. I did print a brand new batch of coasters, so I have 4 new ones. So that gives you 4 more opportunities to get one of the I was about to say limited edition, but it's not really limited edition because I'm going to be printing these all the time. The Starship coasters. I do want to try starting to do like patches, except in coaster form, kind of like what NASA Spaceflight does. But if I eat during this, just don't just don't mind me. I actually need to eat. So yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna turn on the NASA Spaceflight stream in the background on my TV. Um,
A full flow today into a situation where they have to, for example, consider can they do another attempt tomorrow if weather doesn't permit. There will be considerations, all of that. It goes through their mind. They won't just blind.
so the tower vent has stopped. I don't know what that means necessarily. Um, if you know what that means, please comment down below. I honestly don't know what that means, so um, yeah. Things are looking about 50-50. I'd say, and from what SpaceX says, we have about a 50-50 shot at going today. Um, it's 55% go if you have seen the posts. So I'd say we probably are more on track. They have had to delay a teeny tiny bit, just by um about 14 minutes. Um, so yeah, I'm worried. I think we're all worried. We are just waiting for them to give the confirmation that they are going to go for propellant load or if they are going to cancel until tomorrow. I would rather them not cancel until tomorrow, but again, I have that gut feeling that it's kind of just like we don't we don't know how it's going to go. So I would say we have about a 50-50 shot. All we have to do is wait for them to give the confirmation that they are go or no go for propellant load. If they are no go, they will say that they are not going, and they're going to that they are not cannot figure out the words I'm going to say. Um they're standing down for today's attempt. But again, that is not what they are saying right now. So, yeah.
It's almost another thing. Since they can replenish, they can reclaim some of it and then replenish during those 24 hours, they can do an attempt 24 hours after. So yesterday, that was probably.
Yeah, so NASA space flight is talking about potentially replenishing if they need to. I think they probably. I don't know. I'm very conflicted. I am thinking the best but expecting the worst is what all rocket nerds like me say is expect the best or expect the worst but also hope for the best but expect the worst. So NASA's spaceflight is showing their thing and it doesn't look too bad.
The clouds are stable. Like it's not really completely being blown away, which of course is not great if you're in a situation when you're waiting for weather. We are at a point where the last time where they came to they came to the lake, like right about now, and oh,
That's some brilliant timing for that.
sorry. So we have another delay.
Okay.
SpaceX has just adjusted the T-minus clock to now 59 of the hour. So that is overtime. Is it 6:59? I'm sorry. I
Okay. 6:59. Has the wind No, wait. Hold on. The window has opened. Because wait a minute. No. They're an hour behind. So it's 6:43 my time right now. It's 5:43 their time. So their window hasn't started. I see. Okay. So their window hasn't started yet. So yeah, they still have a bit. They still have a bit, but it's more or less thinking about the window and more thinking about like, oh, we can keep going into the window. It's more thinking about we can keep going into the window with moderation. Like we can only push into the window so much, and then yeah. So if everything is a go, because we are back down at an hour and 15 minutes. If everything is a go now, if they look at the weather and say, hey, we can launch now, or like we can start propellant load because the weather looks good for the next few bits, we should be getting confirmation sooner rather than later. We did just pass the 14-minute, 1 hour, 14-minute, and 40-second mark. I do wish. I was about to say, I do wish that I had a timer, but I do have an iPad. And who's to say I can't just put a timer on my iPad and just. Yeah, so let me go ahead and go to clock. And I'm going to go to the timer. I am going to keep checking SpaceX website and the SpaceX X page. So timers for 1 hour. I'm going to do 13 minutes and 30 seconds about. Well, we'll do 35 seconds. We'll do 40. 3, 2, 1, start. Alright, so this is the countdown. I don't know how well or how not well you can see this, but this is going to be our countdown for the launch today. Not SpaceX's, our countdown. So basically, like, meaning this is what we are going to be relying on. because I cannot for the life of me figure out how to get a timer on this stream. So, we're just going to use this timer. So yeah, we have 13 minutes left. We're hoping to get a confirmation from SpaceX. So yeah, hopefully soon. Again, sooner rather than later. But yeah, so yeah, some exciting and also stressful times because I know we all want this to launch today, but no, like I'm very conflicted. I want it to launch, but I also am looking at the weather and being like, or like physically looking at the clouds and being like, ooh, I don't know if they can do that. So
Now, we should see that engine chill on the ship as well. They're one bit on underneath of each of the aft flaps on the ship. TSX like, yeah, let's just go through until the end of the countdown, I guess.
We're going to just make up.
So we're looking for event under both of the aft flaps. Again, they can change the time. They can change the count from what it currently is. But I'm gonna say that let me think. So they're only I say only. They are about 30 minutes into their window. So far is what they've pushed to is 30 minutes into their window. So yeah. I know it's not just me. Everybody is very stressed. We got confirmation from SpaceX 2 hours ago counting down to Starship's 10th flight test. Weather is currently 55%. And they're getting real. They are getting real. Again, we are all waiting for confirmation from Space. If you are just joining, we are waiting for confirmation from SpaceX that they are going or not going with the flight test today. Again, we all hope it goes. There is a possibility that they start to go, and then they have to do a T-minus 40 hold just for a few minutes, and then they'll launch. I hope that's what they do. The official SpaceX stream starts in 58 or in 10 minutes, I believe. Yep, 10 minutes. Yeah. So yeah, we are all very stressed. I'm waiting for that little blue. If you know how X is, I'm just very, very, very much watching that notification bell in X to see SpaceX make a post. Because they're either gonna post or they're gonna keep going until the end of their window, or they are just going to, like, just post and be like, hey, we're not going today. I hope they just say, like, we're going, prop load is going, so, yeah, stressful. So let me go ahead and show you, 713. I kind of figured.
Absolutely, they still have some wiggle room here. Of course, that's their the two positives here. We'll know more. They will watch this very closely. Of course, you also don't want to violate them. It's like I see some people like, oh, whatever, just try it. That's usually not ideal. Weather rules are there for a reason, and you only want to launch if these weather rules are permitting such launch because man, very well this expensive vehicle and you're putting all of the time in there and you lose it because you have a bit of go fever and don't want to go a day early. So let's be careful. I also saw a question by always thought about is it better resetting at t minus 75 minutes than t minus 40 seconds? And I think my personal opinion is better here because they don't waste that much power per effect.
It's gonna get brilliant as well from
I think we get how to educate people on things going back to Starship, because that's the whole reason why we do this, right? We want to be able to share this stuff with the entire world, because it's awesome if they will, if the way so it's going to be that way. Anthony, message, but also 5 anyways. Thank you so much. Because SpaceX went straight into propeller pretty much this time around.
Yeah.
They seem to be, kind of scared to go propeller.
It did delay though. It didn't, or at least they were not targeting the opening of the window. But it is true that they did not delay to the window as much as they are doing today. Still, they have 31 minutes left, right? So no panic. But also, to the question of whether it's better to hold now than rather doing it at 40 seconds, I will also add the fact that once they load the propellant, it's true they can hold, but they cannot hold forever, right? They can only hold for a few minutes. And so it's better to do it now because whatever hold they have is sort of more indefinite. I know why Adrian just jumped.
Yeah, I know we want to comment on it. It's just that's
So the OEM event is still going. Let's get this show back on the rails. The OEM event is still going. Launch van, that's what it's for. It's still going. It's still waiting. Beautiful views here from the dunes. A lot of big cameras that were set up specifically for the launch this morning. I think this is these remote cameras. Yeah, this is going to be a view if they actually get to the point of igniting the engines. And we have the tail events that way as well, looking up from the trailer. Yeah. Not as strong as we've seen it in the past. It's kind of trickling out there, Adrian.
I see some people mentioning that on social media, on the content, other people that are not related to SpaceX are telling them it's at this point like basically treating it this launch is called off. That's not the case. Like the only source you should listen to regarding if this launch is still on or not is SpaceX.
All right, so I will mention, they still have 31 minutes in their window. So if they do need to hold again, they could go at the very end of their window. They could go at 7:29 their time or wait. Yeah, 7:29 or 7:59 their time. 7:59. Jeez, I'm sorry. 7:29 their time or 7:30 their time. They literally could push all the way to the end of the window. Oh, notification 13 seconds ago. Yes, team is go for prop load. Gee man. Okay, SpaceX is go for prop. I keep doing that. SpaceX team is go for prop load, meaning they have looked at the weather and they said that they are.
They're gonna give it a chance at 6:59 p.m. Central Time for that T0. So.
All right, 6:59 Central, which is about 7:59 my time. So let me go yell to someone real. All right, sorry about that. Okay, so I can confirm SpaceX did do an X tweet and say X tweet. I'm sorry, an X post. I don't like calling them tweets anymore, but they are go for propellant load, which means I said it right that time. They are go for propellant load, which means that they're trying. They're going to try. They may have to push. They still have, again, they still have 31 minutes left in the window. So that if they need to hold at any point, or if they need to hold it T minus 40 at any point, that is okay. I feel like we were just in this situation yesterday. We are 16 minutes away from launch of Starship Flight 10. So, because of that, we are going to go back into the phase of me talking about the launch window. So, I am going to go ahead and oh wait, this is actually in the perfect position. I don't have to move this at all. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about today's flight test plan. Again, we'll be pulling up the SpaceX website to make sure that I am getting accurate information and I am not telling you complete baloney. So, um, let's go ahead and go over that, shall we? Since we do have still a little bit of time, I was about to say since we still have a little bit of time, we can do the pre-launch countdown, but I'm just gonna do the flight test timeline. So, beginning again, this is deja vu for me. Okay. So at 2 seconds is liftoff of Starship and Super Heavy. Um, and then a minute later, at 1 minute and 2 seconds, is max Q, moments of aerodynamic or peak aerodynamic stress on the rocket. At 2 minutes and 36 seconds, so about a minute and 34 seconds later, will be super heavy Miko, or most engines cut off. So as you can see, I am missing 2 engines. As you can see, but the outer ring sorry, that wasn't meant to happen yet. The outer ring at 20, the inner ring at 10 will shut down, and then the center, sorry, the center 3 will. Jeez, I got something in my throat. And then the center 3 will just stay in place. Let me put back your guys' timer for the flight test. So continuing on, let me actually rotate this a little bit so you can see it a bit better. There you go. Okay. So then, as I said, at 2 minutes and 36 seconds will be super heavy Miko. Excuse me, sorry. At 2 minutes and 38 seconds, so about 2 seconds later, will be hot staging. So this is where they had the hold last time. The ship will separate from the booster. The booster will do its directional flip back towards the Gulf of Mexico. I will repeat this as many times as physically necessary. They are not going for a catch this flight. They don't need the super heavy boosters back at this point. So, continuing onward, I am just checking my product really quickly. Continuing onward, um, the booster will flip, and at 2 minutes and 48 seconds, so 10 seconds later, will be super heavy boost back burn start. About a minute or about 50 seconds later will be super heavy boost back shutdown. Boost back start will reignite those inner or the inner 10. So then shutdown, and then about 2 seconds later will be hot stage jettison. Which I am sorry, I'm just checking the SpaceX site. Hot stage jettison, which is this little thing right here. So it'll fly off, and they won't have that anymore. So we won't need that for a while. And then at 6 minutes, so about 3 3 minutes and about 20 or so seconds, um, is super heavy landing burn start. So the inner three will ignite, and a couple, like a second or two later, the outer 10 will light, or the inner 10 will light, and yeah, except the one of the center three Raptor engines. Um, and then at 20 seconds later will be landing burn shutdown. It will hover over the Gulf of Mexico and will drop into the water. And hopefully, you never really want to hear this because this is very unusual for even me to say. Hopefully, it hits the ocean and it goes kablooey and explodes because SpaceX does not want to have another Booster 13 situation again where it floated into Mexican waters. So that was not a fun time, and that was not a great thing for them. So, stepping away from the booster, we now have the ship's stuff. So let's go ahead and get started with that. So, at 8 minutes and 57 seconds is ship engine cutoff. So, will be, yes, the thing I went crazy over last time, will be the inner sea level engines. Just checking the time. The inner sea levels will shut down. Or no, the outer vacuums will shut down, and then the inner sea levels will shut down, and then boom. At 18 minutes and 27 seconds will be payload deployment demo start. So about 10 or so minutes later, the payload, the Starlink dummies, pretend this Apple TV is a Starlink dummy. It will go shoo, shoo, shoo. Well, not that fast. It'll be more like shoo, 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 shoo. Anyways, so that will be what that looks like. And so they will end that demo 25 minutes and 32 seconds later. Again, I'm sorry that I keep going back to my laptop. I keep wanting to check the SpaceX feed just to make sure that they are still on track. And so far, not to jinx anything, I am knocking on wood, but they are still go for stream at 7:13. So let's get over this quickly because we have 10 minutes. Until the official stream starts, and then they'll say this all again. Yay. Okay, so at 37 minutes and 48 seconds will be Raptor in Space Relight demo startup. They don't have a shutdown. I just made up the startup part. It just says Raptor engine relight demo. That will light one of the center Raptor engines for a few seconds, and it will shut off. At 47 minutes and 29 seconds, so about 10 minutes later, will be Starship entry. So the forward flaps will fold in, hopefully for the first time, and the and the aft flaps will also fold in. I have to hold them because these are not the best with holding, so whatever. So then it'll come down at 1 hour and 3 minutes and 15 seconds. Starship is transonic. At 1 hour, 4 minutes and 30 seconds, Starship is subsonic. It will then do its belly flop maneuver, and the flaps will have full control of the vehicle. And then, hopefully, if everything goes according to plan, if everything goes according to plan, at 1 hour, 6 minutes, and 14 seconds will be the beginning of the landing flip, meaning that the aft flaps will fold in, and then the forward flaps will fold back out, to give a more aerodynamic guidance, to say. And then about 6 seconds later will be the burn start, or the landing burn start. And then it will do its flip. Forward flaps will fold in. Pretend this is the water. It'll come about here. They'll kind of touch down in the water. Engines will shut down. And at 1 hour, 6 minutes, and 30 seconds will be an exciting landing for Ship 37. Again, this is if everything goes according to plan. I have a very good feeling that everything is going to go very well for SpaceX today, if they do end up launching. So yeah. Um, yeah. So that is 11, 12, 13 in about 7 minutes. So yeah. Very, very exciting. I am checking the SpaceX website just to do a quick double check, make sure, yep, we are still on good target. Again, knock on wood, they are still on track, for liftoff. So let me go ahead and check, I think prop load, go prop load, and then, view engagement. I do want to see what time, I don't know if I can get exact times from when they said propellant load is for upper stage. But they have not posted that yet, that the upper stage fueling is, has started yet, which we are waiting for. The tower, I can tell you this right now, tower vent is gushing out liquid oxygen, so we should, see propellant load on the upper stage happen in the next few minutes. I would not be surprised if, as I am talking, they go in, or they go ahead, and send out a post saying that the upper stage is underway. So yeah, I will go ahead and pull up. I'm not gonna pull up NASA Spaceflight's official stream. I am gonna pull up their Starbase live stream. So again, I said the same thing yesterday. I am not afraid to steer you away from my live streams. If you do want to get higher quality views instead of just the SpaceX view, go check out NASA Spaceflight. Or better yet, do what I'm doing. Have my stream right here, and then have NASA Spaceflight stream on your TV, so you get both views of both worlds. Again, I am not afraid to tell you to go watch um, another person's stream. I frankly would very much rather you guys get better quality than stay with me and get the kind of quality that we're at right now. So let's go ahead and check X again, just because I am a neat freak and are obsessively checking over this. Their live stream does start, again, knock on wood, their live stream does start at 7:13, which currently that is about now 4 minutes away. So hopefully, 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 we will see that, that stream coming up pretty soon. So, yeah. I did want to mention, I forgot to mention this or this morning when I started, like, posting and stuff. The reason they had to scrub was because of an issue, if you haven't already seen it, was because of an issue with the, umbilical, power plate and everything. So, yeah. So again, still good for the window. Still at 7:13. Yeah, 15 minutes since that prop load thing, so they should be starting upper stage pretty soon. Relatively soon. I can see the kind of discolorment of the actual tank walls, which is probably meaning that they are going to post about it in just a minute. I am also looking at the fuel lines to see if they've gotten frosty yet, because it does take a teeny tiny bit for them to get frosty. So, yeah. Just keep an eye. I do believe. I want to say that I do see the lines getting frosty, in meaning that I believe that propellant that they have started going for prop load on the ship. I am not sure about the booster, but I know for ship. At least they are starting, I think. Potentially. I'm not sure. Again, I need to know the sequence of events. Like, if the OLM vent goes off, or the tower vent goes off, that means that they're starting to fuel. I really need to get better at that. But, yeah, you know, so if we can get past this 40-something mark, then I think we should be good to go. We have a stream starting in 2 minutes, actually. So, yeah. Things, I believe, are going well. So, again, if you're just joining the stream, welcome for one. For two, we are about, you can kind of see it in the timer behind me, 47 minutes and about, give or take, a couple of seconds away from this launch. I am going to make sure that is accurate, and just make sure I'm not going crazy. Let's see, yeah, 46 minutes and 50 so seconds. So, yeah, I am, yeah, so, okay, I'm gonna check Starbase Live because it's kind of hard to see on my not so great quality looking TV, so, yeah. So I am going to check, Starbase Live so I can give you guys some information and make sure that I am not just seeing things. Because I do believe, yes, the quick disconnect, one of the quick disconnect arms I can see is frosty, which means that it's probably either the liquid methane or liquid oxygen fuel line. So, yes. We are moving very fast. So let's go ahead and head back here so that we can get ready for this, we have the stream has started. The SpaceX stream has officially started. Let me go ahead and full screen that so we can see it. Welcome everybody. Flight 9. Sorry, flight 10 is happening. The stream actually did start this time, so that is a good sign. Volume just a bit until they actually start talking. So yeah. If you can hear it from my phone, it's very, very loud. So yeah. I think I'll probably pull it up on my phone because I can't hear it. So I do like that it's Mars now. So that's neato. So yeah, just in the meantime, again, if you would, like one of these, coasters, again, I have, 7 of them, including the deformed one, which counts to 8, so if you would like one, please just comment down below or DM me on X, and I will be very happy to send you one over. And so we are moving the liquid methane tank coloration, or is discoloring, which means that they are close to propellant load. We do have to listen in to what they say, because we do have to make sure that we just have to listen in, so yeah. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and go to the SpaceX. Oh, I think, yep, that's it. Alright, so I'm turning back up the volume, and I will hush my microphone. I did get it perfect this time, so I can't hear it in a second.
Alright, all operators on the count of 1. Flight directors go for launch.
Speaking of which,
Hello, everybody, and
Dan.
welcome to Starbase, Texas,
Hi.
or what we like to call here at SpaceX, the gateway to Mars. I'm Dan Hewitt with SpaceX Communications, coming to you
Oh,
once again from
it's just
inside
Dan.
of Star Factory. This time, pretty cool. Just off to my right, though, our new Mission Control Center. Engineers are on console,
wow,
monitoring
that's
all
cool.
the vehicle, the
I
systems,
didn't know they had a
as
new
we are
Mission Control
counting
Center.
down right now to liftoff of the 10th Starship flight test. As you look at the rocket, you can tell prop load is underway. Our T0 right now is set for 6:59 p.m. Central
Right.
Time. We've been dodging around some weather.
let me,
that is currently the biggest threat to a launch today, as we're at about 70% probability of violation to liftoff. So we're looking at those clouds closely, but not tracking any technical issues on the vehicle.
Good.
Today's objectives, particularly with the ship, going to look pretty similar to the last flights, the last several launches. We're planning to deploy Starlink simulator satellites and fly a whole range of experiments during Starship's re-entry, really trying to test the limits of its heat shield, the flaps, learn as much as possible as we build towards a fully reusable heat shield. We're looking to do a controlled descent, targeted soft splashdown in the Indian Ocean, so hopefully seeing Starship on the other side of the planet today. Regardless of the outcome, the goal is to collect as much data as humanly possible. That'll get us all the bit. We're just getting closer and closer to a fully operational Starship.
So with that said, I'm definitely not as nervous. Last time I was very nervous just because I wanted the ship to work. But I think
Will and I are just going to enter this live cast.
All right, so
add a little flavor.
Yeah, right now we're counting down.
Is that Elon?
But we're about to launch the largest flying object ever made.
Is he on comms?
But this isn't on the radar for everybody, and we know that. So we want to kind of take a beat, pull back, do a little bit of Starship 101. To do that,
He sounds like
I've
he's
got
been-
some special guests crashing the webcast today. Joining me now
yeah.
in Star Factory, Elon Musk, Chief Engineer at SpaceX. Bill Riley, our VP of Starship Engineering. Thanks for being here, guys. I know we got a rocket about to get off the pad, but, let's start people off, high level. Why are we here? What the hell are we doing here?
Well, I don't know about everybody, but I'm here to try to build into the future that I imagined and dreamed of as a child, where starships with people are out among the stars exploring the universe.
Yeah, so the why, it's always important to explain the why of things. And the why of Starship is that we want to be a multi-planet species to extend consciousness beyond Earth, I think for two main reasons. One is to ensure the long-term survival and prosperity of life as we know it in consciousness, which if we are a multi-planet species and ultimately a multistellar species out there among the stars, the probability of survival is much, much longer. That's kind of the, defensive aspect or life insurance for life collectively. But then there also need to be things that are inspiring and exciting and that give you reason to live. Life cannot just be about solving one tragic problem after another. There must be also reasons to get up in the morning and be excited about the future. And a future where we are a space-faring civilization is infinitely more exciting than one where we are not.
And we're doing it all pretty unique location. I mean, the pad's behind us. We got rocket on the tower. We got another tower with it. We're sitting inside Star Factory. And I mean, it wasn't like this for very long. This is all pretty brand new.
Yeah, I think we moved Starship here in about the early part of 2019. So we've been coming that entire time and seeing the site evolve from a double wide trailer and a tent where we built Starhopper to the first suborbital test flights. And now we have behind us 2 towers for the first time as we build towards the first operational flight from the second tower at the end of this year. And this beautiful building, 1,000,000 square feet, where we're able to work towards a production line of Starships.
Yeah, the SpaceX team has done an incredible job of building out really the most advanced rocket manufacturing facility that has ever existed. This is far beyond any rocket fabrication facility that has ever been built. This is essentially alien-level technology, and it was all built here, basically down by the Rio Grande River and close to the beach. It's an incredibly improbable location, and this used to be a sandbar. I think we're about, 3 feet or about a meter above sea level. it really was nothing. If you see the time lapse from Sandbar to two launch towers and a gigantic rocket factory with high bays, and we're going to be building something called the Gigabay, which is like one of the largest enclosed volumes on Earth. So it's sort of like a gigantic Borg cube that we're going to be building here for building and storing these gigantic rockets. It's really spectacular, and anyone can come and visit. So because we're on a public highway, and we're literally by a public beach, you can actually come and see the rocket.
I will be right back again.
Quite close up. I mean, you can drive past it, and you can also look at the factory. And anyone can do this from anywhere in the world. So if you can come and visit and check it out. So I think it's pretty cool that it's
Just not right now.
just not right.
Just not right
Obviously not when we're launching because there's some safety issues, but the rocket's often just sitting on the pad without any propellant in it, and then you can just come here and visit. It's very easy.
Yeah, I think it's a really special place. Yesterday, the ship went down the road behind us, and I saw families outside going for on Sunday going for their Sunday stroll, and they were greeted by Starship going down. And I think that from the very beginning, the thing about Starship different than Falcon and other rockets that I'm aware of is we designed it to be mass-produced and mass-produced at scale. And it's not about building one Starship and getting to orbit once. It's about doing it in a sustained and rapid way.
Yeah, we're aiming for ultimately thousands of ships to be built per year, which is what's needed in order to construct a city on Mars that is self-sustaining. And the major fork in the road of destiny will be when the Mars city is capable of surviving even if the resupply ships from Earth stop coming for any reason. And that reason could be something cataclysmic, or it could be that that civilization simply subsided. There's always this debate throughout history of will civilization end with a bang or a whimper. But either way, if the critical thing is to get to the point where Mars is self-sustaining and can survive even if the resupply ships stop coming for any reason, which means that you need to build an entire base of industry on Mars in order for Mars to survive. For example, it's not simply enough to build a chip, like a computer chip factory, but you need the ability to build computer chip factories. So this is going to really take a lot of tonnage. I mean, my guess is at least 1 million tons to the surface of Mars, and maybe it takes less than that, but it's going to be a lot.
I am going
But
to
this
have a
is
special
this is
guest
a
on,
very exciting future.
tonight for tonight's launch.
It's one which will
So,
ensure the
I did
long-term
bring a chair.
survival and prosperity
They're not up
of life
yet,
and consciousness,
so
and
I
it's
do
the
just
critical
have a chair.
stepping stone
It will be coming up
to get
10 or
from
15 minutes before the
this
actual
solar
launch.
system to
So-
other star systems, and perhaps go out there and explore, and perhaps we'll encounter alien civilizations that maybe they're alive now, or maybe they enjoyed a period of prosperity for millions of years, but also died out millions of years ago. So it's humbling to think of the age of the universe, according to the standard model of physics, being approximately 13.8 billion years old. So an incremental million years would be 3 digits past the decimal point. And if you look at, say, our civilization and measure our civilization by the first evidence of writing, which is about 5,500 years ago, civilization as measured from the first writing is only 1/1,000,000th of Earth's existence.
Or blip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Flash in the pan so far.
Well, we're getting some cool shots. Rocket out on the pad right now. We tell people, like, come down, see it. It's hard to get, like, a sense of scale of just how massive this thing is. And we were able to catch somebody working on it a little while ago. And, like, part of the reason you said we're
sounds
sending
very
millions of tons,
just-
that's kind of why this
When
thing
I
is
take
so
in this
massive
image,
as it
Dan, you
is.
can actually see the person
wonder
working
how
at
long
the
he
bottom
has
of the
left in
ship,
him
and
with
as we
this.
zoom out, you
Or if
see
he's just gonna, like,
the
after
full
this
ship,
flight,
that
be like,
sort
"I'm
of
done.
two-tone
I'm not
silver
doing
and
commentary
black, and then the
anymore. I'm
booster
not
below it, right? And it
doing launches
really
anymore."
sets the scale, which doesn't come across, I think, other than in person. And when I do tours, I like to say Starship is real, Starship is big, and Starship is really big. And I think you can see there, and with the factory shots you saw earlier, again, we've got Flight 10 on the pad, but we got many more behind it.
Yeah, so I posted a video yesterday of just a a brief scan of part of the Starship factory, and you can get a sense of the scale of the factory. Yeah, I guess we could talk a bit about why Starship is the way it is. Like, for example, why is half of the ship black and half of it is silver colored? And that's because the bottom half of the ship, the bottom as seen from orbital entry, has a heat shield on it. So the black there is the heat shield, and then the core structure of the rocket is a special alloy of stainless steel, and that's where you see the sort of shiny silver parts are stainless steel. The reason for steel over aluminum is that the heat of atmospheric entry and the heat of the rocket engines is enough to easily melt aluminum, but steel is much more resilient against both ascent heating, but especially the reentry heating. And you don't have to paint it, which is actually very difficult to paint a large object that is going through cryogenic cycles and have the paint stay on. It's quite challenging.
And so we've talked about it. It's massive. It obviously takes a whole lot of energy to make that thing move. And that's where Raptor really starts to come in, most advanced engine on the planet.
I wish
Giant
there was
lightsaber.
new stuff, like more firing.
No, that's a
capacity
lightsaber and a
three.
half. You would get vaporized in an instant if you were standing in front of Raptor. So, yeah, burnt to a crisp less than a second. So in order to create a fully reusable orbital rocket, you have to advance the state of the art in
Half an
every
hour.
part of the rocket. That means the engines have to be better than any engine ever. The structure's got to be better than any structure
Calm.
ever.
Usually it's like they're up and
You've
out,
gotta,
man, and you have Dan and Kate and Jesse is
You've got to have
just very calm.
a means of
Dan sounds really
bringing the
tired.
rocket
He
back
sounds
to
like
the
he's been
launch
at it for
pad.
days. Like
You've got to have a fully reusable orbital
So.
heat shield, and that no one has ever made a fully reusable orbital heat shield. The space shuttle, for example, required 9 months of refurbishment between flights. So the space shuttle heat shield would come back essentially partially broken and would require many months of refurbishment in order to fly again. What we're trying to achieve here with Starship is to have a heat shield that can be flown immediately. So the ship, both the ship and the booster, would be caught by the tower arms, and the booster would be placed immediately back on the launch stand, and the ship's got to orbit Earth at least once, but then could be back potentially in one orbit, but in most cases several orbits. So the ship would come back several hours later, but then be caught by the arms and placed on top of the booster. You could also have multiple ships ready so that a single booster could service 5 or more ships, so that you could be flying the booster in theory, every hour. This is kind of a profoundly fast speed, obviously, for the largest flying object by far ever made. But it's the reason why we catch the booster with the tower arms, and the ship also will be caught with the tower arms, because that's the fastest way to get the booster and the ship back to flight. If we had instead put landing legs, which we have done before for the ship tests, we actually had landing legs that flipped down, and the ship we've successfully demonstrated landing with legs. But if you do that, if we were to do that with the booster and the ship, here we'd have to land somewhere else with the legs, then lift the rocket, stow the legs, transport the rocket back to the pad, which is very unwieldy when you've got a gigantic thing. Then it would be picked up by these tower arms and placed in the launch mount. That would delay the reusability dramatically and would add a lot of mass with the landing legs. So that's why we catch the rocket with the tower arms, because it's the same tower arms that put the rocket in the launch mount are used to catch the rocket. And that means that we can put the booster back in the launch mount in less than an hour after liftoff. In fact, the booster is going to come back very fast. Like, 5 or 6 minutes later, this booster is coming back one way or another, or not coming back. So so then you really have propellant full time, which can be brought down to about 30, 40 minutes. And that means it is theoretically possible to fly the booster again in less than an hour.
I think when I think about it, it's the jet drives up to the jetway, the people get off, new people get on, and it leaves. You don't want to land the jet on a different airfield and then tow it over to the jetway. So it's just operationally simpler and faster.
Yeah, we've had a lot of success with the booster, 3 for 3 on the catch attempts. When we bring it back, we've reflown one, so awesome. And then again, Starship superpowers, the whole thing is reusable. So ship reusability is like what we're working on right now. We've been able to get some really spectacular reentries on a couple of flights, hoping to get this one for reentry on the V2 ship. But yeah, that fully reusable heat shield, that thing that has just never been done before, that's one of the things we're really looking for that data on.
Yeah, I mean, there are thousands of engineering challenges that remain for both the ship and the booster, but the single, maybe the single biggest one is the reusable orbital heat shield. We are confident in making a fully reusable orbital heat shield, but it will require many flights, many iterations to figure out where the weak points are in the heat shield, where we need to change the design, either strengthening the tile or changing the
26 minutes.
how big the gap is between tiles, changing what's underneath the tile. There's a
hold yet,
you know 100 different variables that we could tweak with the ship tiles, the heat shield tiles. But the only way to know exactly what we should be adjusting is to fly repeatedly and be able to examine the ship upon landing. And we have successfully brought the ship back through the atmosphere and achieved a soft landing multiple times. So we know that this is possible, but we have in the process shed many heat shield tiles. So we need to be able to do this without shedding heat shield tiles and do so repeatedly.
And I think what you're seeing now is the Starship, this is CG of it coming in and landing on the tower, much like the booster, but there's some additional challenges there where we need to make sure we don't scrape the tiles off as we slide along the chopstick
We can't
arms.
shuck the heat shield.
Don't crush the ship.
Rapid
Yeah,
reusability.
if we shuck the tiles, then that's obviously going to fail the reusability test.
So ships can use the tower to land and catch, like the booster here on Earth where towers are available. And for our initial landings on Mars and other planets, we'll need landing legs that deploy much like what you're seeing here with Ship 15 when we did our suborbital test to prove out the precision descent landing, which was a successful test. We actually landed to, one was we were able to actually recover it, and you can see it here in the rocket garden if you visit Starbase.
Yeah, so the rocket garden that Bill mentioned, we have actually a whole bunch of boosters and ships, and we'll be adding to them over time. So you can see an evolution of Starship just by driving down the highway.
Yeah, so reusability is key. There's some other technologies we're still looking to prove out. Really big one is going to be the on-orbit refilling. Looking to do that next year, and that's really what's going to kind of unlock, Starship going everywhere else, going everywhere beyond Earth. And that's something that's, again, never been done before, kind of like that reusable orbital heat shield. But it's going to be something that's kind of some of the other secret sauce to Starship, where we're going to be able to send hundreds of tons per ship to Mars.
Yeah, I like to think of it as if we get to orbit with a full cargo bay, but we're empty on fuel and oxygen. So basically, we're running on fumes. Then we send other ships to dock, transfer propellant, and now we made our two-stage rocket look like a many multi-stage rocket. And we get all of that performance, and we can take that full cargo bay now wherever we want to go.
Yeah, so a crucial technology that we hope to demonstrate next year is this orbital refilling. Much like aerial refueling, it's essential for being able to send significant payload to Mars. So you essentially send a ship to orbit with a few hundred tons of payload, sort of a filled payload bay. But once it gets to orbit, the tanks will be mostly empty, and then you send up additional tanker ships to refill the Mars ship's tanks, so that it can thrust from Earth orbit to Mars and have enough propellant left for landing. So this is orbital refilling is also not something that's ever been demonstrated before. So that would be a brand new technology. we obviously have at SpaceX figured out how to dock repeatedly with the space station.
really
So in a lot of ways, this is like docking. And in some ways, it's easier in that SpaceX is docking with its own craft. But no one has ever demonstrated propellant transfer in orbit, to the best of our knowledge, and so this would be propellant transfer at a very large scale. And but with full reusability and propellant transfer, those are the key technologies needed for building a city on Mars. And I'm confident that the SpaceX team, which is incredibly talented, will achieve these goals, and we will be landing ships on Mars in the future and building life on Mars, building greenhouses and life on Mars, and ensuring the long-term survival of life as we know it. And it's important to note here that obviously, we are effectively stewards of life here on Earth. That the other creatures cannot build spacecraft and get to other planets. So if there were to be a cataclysmic event, like a giant meteor that destroyed the dinosaurs, or ultimately the sun will expand to envelop Earth and destroy all life, we know this is an undisputed fact. Then if we don't take life to another planet, life will be destroyed. So it's incumbent upon us to ensure that we do bring life to other planets and ensure the long-term survival of life as we know it on planet Earth.
And I mean, aside from that, there's so much that Starship unlocks by being able to do these things. Like, we'll be able to go to Mars, but there are other just transformational things by being able to take that many people, that much stuff to space for that much less money.
Yeah, I mean, I think understanding our planet better, being able to move people around the planet, make it feel smaller and more accessible. You could go anywhere on the Earth, in less than 40 minutes, basically, in terms of flight time. So I really do see Starship as being this thing that can connect us, just like Starlink connects our information. This can connect us more physically.
Because I can't hear from
here. So
it's
there's really nothing faster than a rocket. Really, an orbital rocket is the fastest thing that we know of of the fastest means of transport. So, like, you could go from LA to Sydney in less than half an hour. You could go LA to Tokyo in less than half an hour. You could go from New York to Singapore in half an hour. Everything's roughly half an hour, basically. Some things might be 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, yes, sign me up for that, please. All right, cool.
Cross the Atlantic in 10 minutes, no problem.
Please, yes, sign me up.
You're going 25 times the speed of sound, so that's 30 times faster than a commercial aircraft.
And it's a whole hell of a lot better view.
Yeah, it's a hell of a view.
Yeah. All right, cool. Anything else, guys?
Please hold.
Anything else you're really excited about
we could
coming
say
out?
a lot more.
Yeah.
Maybe we should go check in on the rocket and get on
console.
console.
We're going to go back on console to hopefully the weather supports the launch tonight. Yeah, thanks for tuning in, and thanks for your support.
Thanks
So
for
we're just
crashing,
gonna
guys.
keep talking for a little bit. So the goal with this one today, since I bug you so much about this, today is the one day that I can finally just be like, this. So this will lift off, hopefully. Knock on wood.
All right, that was sweet. Let's turn our attention back to the rocket. So just checking in, we are about 19 minutes and change away from liftoff. As I said right at the top, weather is going to be our primary concern. We were tracking some anvil clouds. We're hopefully clearing that on the range soon. We are not currently tracking any hardware blockers to launch, but we'll continue to follow along. If anyone was following along yesterday, we actually didn't even get into our webcast as we had a leak on one of the hoses feeding into feeding the liquid oxygen into the ship through its quick disconnect. We were able to replace that this morning. Team did an incredible job, got us into an attempt today. All right, joining me now for the rest of the day is Amanda Lee. Hi, Amanda.
Thanks, Dan. I'm super excited to be here. Let's just get right into it.
Yeah, a whole bunch has happened to get us to today's flight, our 10th flight test. Let's look back at Starship's 9th flight test in May. That did end with a rapid unscheduled disassembly on the ship and the booster.
Flight 9 Flight 9 marked the first reflight of a Super Heavy booster. We saw successful stage separation and the first ever deterministic flip, which gives us extra performance. The reused booster was flown at a much higher angle of attack to push the envelope on capabilities, which ended up causing some internal structural failure, eventually leading to a rapid unscheduled disassembly at landing burn.
Yeah, ship continued its ascent. We did see pressure drop in its main fuel tank and rise in the nose cone. We just had a camera view. We actually caught the failure on camera in the fuel pressurization system. Ship was able to complete its ascent, though, achieved its planned velocity and second stage engine cutoff.
After that, though, we did run into some issues with attitude control, which led us to skipping the payload deploy and Raptor relay demos. Starship eventually re-entered the atmosphere in an off-nominal attitude, and communication was lost approximately 46 minutes into the flight test during entry, but of course not before one heck of a light show.
Yeah. That booster rud was caused by higher than predicted forces on its structure, specifically that internal fuel transport tube, as we were doing a higher angle of attack experiment. To fix that for remaining flights with this version of the booster, including the one behind us, we're just going to lower that angle of attack. We're relaxing those forces, and that minimizes the likelihood of structural failure.
And over on the ship side, we redesigned the part of the fuel pressurization system that failed on Flight 9, put it through a more rigorous test campaign, and after subjecting it to flight-like stresses, it did successfully run for more than 10 times the expected service life with no damage, so great test results there. Our goal is always to make it through all of the objectives we set, but any result that teaches us more about Starship performing in the real-world environment helps us to make those targeted iterations and improve quickly.
Yeah, that's how SpaceX developed our first rocket, Falcon 1. That's the same philosophy we used to develop Falcon 9, which has passed 100 flights just this year and 500 flights overall.
Yeah, incredible milestone for Falcon, and again, the way they got there was to launch, learn, and repeat.
All right, so that wasn't the only thing that happened while getting ready for Flight 10. If you followed along, Ship 36, which was originally supposed to fly on Flight 10, experienced a major anomaly during a static fire test at our Massey's test site. It was in the process of loading all of its cryogenic propellant to do a 6-engine static fire when we had a sudden energetic event that resulted in the complete loss of the Starship, and we damaged the immediate area surrounding the stand out there at Massey's.
The most likely root cause was identified as undetectable or under-screen damage to a composite overwrapped pressure vessel, or COPV, in Starship's payload bay section. To address this probable cause, we're operating the COPVs on Starship at a lower pressure and also implemented additional proofs and inspection methods.
They're good.
Meanwhile, though, keep our launch schedule up, got to keep testing. The team was able to pivot and use the launch pad, the one we're on today, to do ship static fire tests. It was the first time we've ever done that. Doing that retrofit was the fastest path to get back to launch. Team was able to engineer a solution where we used a transport ring to mount the ship, routed a whole bunch of extra hoses and everything to load propellants. They knocked that out in just a matter of weeks, where we had 2 static fires on the orbital mount.
Yeah, very impressive turnaround there, getting to these static fires. These static fires gave us the data we needed to progress to launch and are a prime example of our engineer and technician teams working to build creative solutions to keep us charging forward to eventually bring Starship online.
And even while doing all of this, we're in the process of rebuilding the test stand out at Massey's to get ready for the next generation of Starship, version 3. So right now, though, we are still on track. We're looking about 14 minutes away. Again, our T0 is at 6:59 p.m. Central. While we still have a couple of moments, though, let's toss it over to Chris, who's getting ready to watch the launch out in California. How's it going, Chris?
Hey, Dan and Amanda, it's going great, and welcome everyone to the Tesla Diner here in Hollywood, California. For the first ever public showing of a SpaceX webcast, it's been great to see the webcast up here on the big screens at the diner. You know, throughout the afternoon, we've had members of the public coming up, mixing and mingling, enjoying some of the food, getting to watch some old science fiction, but also getting to watch and keep up to date with what's happening here for Starship's 10th test flight. I think I can speak for everyone here when I say we're really looking forward forward to the epic views that we're going to get from in space and during atmospheric reentry, all thanks to Starlink. And speaking of Starlink, that's actually how we're coming to you live from the diner, relying on one of those many reliable connections that Starlink is able to put down across the Earth and in low Earth orbit. So for a little bit more information on the immediate future of the Starlink constellation, let's head on over to Hawthorne, where my colleague Tyler Lionquist is standing by. Tyler, how's it going there? And are you ready to see a rocket launch today?
We are definitely ready for a Starship launch here in Hawthorne. Hi everyone, my name is Tyler Lionquist and I'm a Starlink business analyst here at SpaceX. Starlink is SpaceX's low Earth orbit high-speed internet that's bringing connectivity to places where you least expect it, including in space. For today's mission, Starship is outfitted with 4 Starlink terminals, allowing us to get live views of ship while in orbit and all the way down to splashdown in the Indian Ocean. Starlink satellites are built in Redmond, Washington, and that's also where we monitor the health of our entire constellation. So let's take a quick look for more on Redmond.
What a lot of people might not realize when they think about the scale that we're operating is that actually 2/3 of the operational satellites in orbit are Starlink satellites. And then all of those Starlink satellites came from right here in Redmond. We've currently got a constellation of over 8,000 satellites that are flying around in orbit. So they're working together to fill out the whole surface of the Earth, make sure everywhere can have service. So we have these laser links that are connected between the satellites, so each satellite can pass data from one to the other. That is what allows us to have these hundreds of gigabit links between satellites, and that's what allows us to connect every corner of the Earth to high quality, high speed, low latency internet. When you think about that Starlink that you have at home, the technology that's in there and that's in your antenna is very similar to the antenna that's on the satellite. We use what are called phased array antennas, which is a fancy way of describing an antenna that's made up of many little antennas that work together in order to direct their energy to a specific spot on the ground without a motor.
Generally, satellite manufacturing is a very slow process. It takes people weeks or months to build a satellite. At SpaceX, we iterate very fast, and we have learned how to build satellites at the 70 sats a week rate. As we have focused a lot on production rate, we have not forgotten about our satellite reliability, which is critical to our mission.
If you look at the whole world and you ask, where is the satellite industry? It's right here in the USA, in Redmond, where the vast majority of satellites are being built right here. Starlink is a truly game-changing technology, and it's all supported by the global satellite constellation from this space here in Redmond. And we're really just getting started at the very beginning of what we want to do with Starlink.
Now, as we mentioned earlier in the show, one of today's objectives is for SHIP to deploy Starlink simulator satellites that represent the advanced V3 satellites Starship will be launching in the future. And as you can see here, once Starship reaches a nominal orbit, the payload door will slowly begin to open to prepare for deployment. The Starlink satellites will be dispatched relatively quickly, one at a time, very much like a Pez dispenser. They'll be situated in one long stack, taking up as little space as possible, allowing for an efficient deployment sequence. And once a set of Starlinks is deployed, the next set advances and deploys until they are all drifting away from Starship to prepare for their on-orbit life. Each Starlink V3 launch on Starship is planned to add 60 terabits per second of capacity to the Starlink network. That's more than 20 times the capacity added with every V2 mini launch on Falcon 9. So we're talking about a massive increase in performance all around, which will ultimately enable Starlink to serve as the communications backbone of the missions to the Moon and to Mars. But for now, we're going to turn it back over to the team at Starbase. Hey, Dan and Amanda.
Hey, thanks, Taylor. So, quick update for everybody. So weather's still the main thing that we're watching. We are currently red on the range, hoping to clear that anvil rule any moment now. That's really the only thing blocking us at the moment. Vehicle's good, pads ready to go. All of our checkouts have been really smooth today after that repair work that we did this morning after we had to abort out yesterday. So we're looking at the weather. That's the thing we're really paying attention to right now.
Meanwhile, prop load is still ongoing. We started loading prop at about T-minus 53 minutes, beginning with ship fuel, ship blocks, booster fuel, and finally booster locks began loading at about T-minus 35. We'll continue loading prop until just about 3 minutes before liftoff, and ship will conclude first, and then 30 seconds later, booster will finish up.
Yeah, so bottom line, we're looking great on the vehicle. We're looking really good on the range. We're just really watching that weather. So we're still waiting to hear that that's clear. That's the only thing that could potentially stop us today.
Okay, now let's talk about Mars, since everything we do is part of our foundational mission to get to the red planet. Each Starship launch is to learn more and more about what's needed to make life multiplanetary and to improve ship to the point where it's eventually taking millions of people to Mars.
That's right. We're looking ahead to begin sending the first Starships to Mars next year. These initial ones are going to go without humans. They're just going to put minimally viable landers on the surface, land right on the skirt, no legs. This will just help prove we can actually get to Mars, focus on learning just as much as humanly possible, demonstrating what's needed for Mars transit and the ultimate landing.
Then, during our next window from 2028 to 2029, we'll attempt to land the initial infrastructure and start delivering more equipment while evaluating available resources on the planet. And we'll also have Optimus on board for the ride, designed to do the initial heavy lifting.
Beyond that, by 2030, 2031, as these windows open up roughly every 26 months, we'll continue to increase the amount of payload we're sending on each ship as we're building out more infrastructure, mining resources, generating propellant for ships to come back from Mars. By 2033, we want to double the amount of payload per ship as we just get closer and closer to building a self-sustaining presence on the red planet.
Yeah, very exciting missions ahead, and these first missions to Mars are going to be crucial to setting up what we'll need for humans to eventually inhabit the planet, and we won't be doing this alone.
Right.
The Italian Space Agency and SpaceX recently signed a first-of-its-kind agreement to carry Italian experiments on the first Starship missions to deliver customer payloads to Mars. These payloads will include a plant growth experiment, a weather monitoring station, and a radiation sensor to gather scientific data during Starship's approximately 6-month interplanetary coast phase from Earth to Mars and also on the Martian surface.
It's a really exciting vision. To make it happen, we're going to need to launch a whole lot more. We're going to need a whole lot of people that are going to come and help us build this. So it makes it really fun for me to come to work. I know you build these things.
100%.
It's got to be fun for you.
Yep, very exciting.
All right.
Looks like we're about 5 minutes from Starship's 10th flight test. Range is still looking good. Still have an eye on the weather at the moment. And prop load is also continuing on both stages of Starship.
Yeah, I'm pulling it up real quick. So we are we're almost closed out on the booster. We're about 90% on fuel, about 90% on LOX, just a bit below. So again, we're going to continue filling for about the next 2 minutes. Once we're completely done with that, we have about 11 million pounds of liquid propellant on board those 2 stages of Starship. So a lot of propellant to move really big rockets really fast away from South Texas. So once we get close, all of our ground systems will prepare themselves. They do what's called pushbacks. They'll clear out all of those feed lines, push back into the prop farm, and just prepare the area around it. We're doing our final guidance and navigation checks right now. The automated flight safety system is about to get armed. We're just really preparing the vehicle to get ready to go. I'm not sure if we passed it already, but we do a final thrust vector control, check out the TVC. We'll wiggle the engines that we use to actually steer the rocket itself. Everybody's favorite topic, if we need to hold. That hold would come at T-minus 40 seconds. We can hold if we're still waiting for the weather to clear, which is our big item today, or if any other last-minute issues pop up. We'll only hold there if we have an issue. Still waiting to hear confirmation that the weather has cleared. That's the only thing it looks like would hold us today. There's the business side of a
so I do
Super
want a
Heavy.
second dance thing.
Now,
If
once we pass
weather
that T-minus
is a
40-second mark that Dan was
concern,
talking
they
about,
can
a number
hold
of
for a
events are
bit.
going to occur in
They
rapid
can't
succession.
hold
The
until the
ground
end of
spin
the
and
run.
ignition
I can
systems
say
come up
that.
to
They
flight
can't hold for
pressure,
another 30
and ship
minutes.
will switch
But
over to internal power.
with the
After
fuel
that,
they
the
have on
quick
board right now,
disconnect
they can
arm
hold
lockout
for
is
maybe
removed in
5-10
preparation
minutes.
for
I maybe
retraction, which
a
occurs
little
shortly after
overestimating it
T0.
with the 10-minute
And once
mark,
we pass
but
that T-minus 40-second mark,
they should
we
be
do
able to
still
hold for
have the
about
ability to then
5-10
recycle
minutes
the count under certain
and
conditions
to
back to
hopefully
T-minus
get
40
the kind of
seconds and hold
the
there to assess
threads
what
that they need.
happened, and if we can proceed
And
again
if
back
they
to
can do
liftoff.
that,
Yeah,
then
we
are
hope
clear.
that
So we're
doesn't
just
happen, but it
listening
has
for
previously.
what they're going to say.
I promise not to psych anybody this time. We do have some kind of points of no return. Once the water starts flowing out of that flame deflector under the launch mount, that happens just a little after T-minus 10 seconds. If that triggers and then we hit a hold, that would be a scrub for the day. We have to refill the water tanks, can't turn it off, got to refill prop, all that stuff. So that's kind of the major watch item. You'll see a big splash under the launch mount, and if we see that go and then you hear a hold, that would mean that we're done for the day. But not. And yeah, I didn't disappear. Sorry, everybody. Listening in as the flight director for today is going through some of the final checks. We are still red on the range for weather. We are closing out prop load right now, though.
Yeah, as we wait and hear what's going on, we can just quickly review some of the test objectives for today. On the booster side, we're of course hoping for all 33 of those Raptor engines to power our ascent ahead of hot staging. And once that stage separation occurs, booster will perform that directional flip before the boost back burn. One of the interesting experiments we're doing today is upon our landing burn, which typically ends with those 3 center engines lit. We're going to be intentionally shutting one of those off and instead lighting one from the middle 10 ring. And this is just to kind of give us an idea of what it would look like if we ever had an engine out scenario.
Yeah, using our time to really push the envelope. And so at this point, we are fully closed out on our prop load. Coming up on a minute and 20, we are still red on the range for weather. So at this rate, looking likely we will hold at T-minus 40 to see if we can clear that anvil cloud roll. That's the one blocker we currently have to a launch today.
Okay, so we probably in the next
All right,
10
and we
seconds probably
did
will
just
see
get confirmation,
stop
so we are expecting to
at
hold
T-minus
at
40.
T-minus 40. We are still red
Unless-
on the range for weather, so look for the clock to pause in just a couple seconds.
Yep, okay, so it's going to pause. Cross our
And
fingers.
pause. So we'll hang out here for a couple of minutes.
today.
We do have until the end of the window.
Oh.
We won't have 30 minutes of hold time to hang out, as we can't, we're essentially not replenishing prop on the vehicle at this point, so we have to keep a close eye on things like temperatures inside the tanks. We can only hold for so many minutes before things start to warm up. Surprise, it's hot in South Texas. So
Yeah, while we're holding here at T-minus 40 seconds, we reviewed our test objectives for booster, but why don't we chat ship for a second? After stage separation, ship will continue onwards up through its ascent to the planned suborbital trajectory. Once it reaches there, we'll undergo SECO, or where the second stage shuts off its engines. We're hoping to deploy 8 dummy satellites today, which are modeled after Starlink V3. We're also planning to attempt a in-orbit burn, so we'll relight one of those Raptor engines while in space, and that will occur ahead of re-entry, where we'll also be testing multiple experiments, including missing tiles, metallic tiles, and intentionally loading those vehicles' flaps. And then hopefully we'll conclude today's test flight with a soft splashdown in the Indian Ocean.
yeah, definitely want to see a ship on the other side of the planet today. We did just get a quick update. So the range is fully green. Weather is still red. So we are still tracking a detached anvil rule, which essentially there's an anvil cloud that's too close to our launch site, and it needs to move further away. Until it moves further away, we can't lift off. So we are expecting an update in a couple of seconds potentially. Again, we can hang out here for several minutes. We're not actively replenishing prop. And getting an update now. And we're getting a weather update right now. And team's looking at it. Again, we're just tracking this anvil rule still. It's our only blocker today. Range is green, vehicle is green. Weather is currently red. All right, and sad voice coming in. We did just hear that we are still going to be red. So at this point, we are essentially transitioning this to be a wet dress. So wet dress is when we fully load prop on board the rocket. So we are going to see the clock probably start up again. But once they get down to 10 seconds, they're going to abort out, and then we will be done for the day. So sad news, not going to launch today. Weather got in our way, but you can only control so much. Can't always control the weather. Can't control the weather. I wish we could control the weather. We're not there yet.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Wouldn't that be nice? So we are seeing the clock rolling, but again, we're going to get down to T-minus 10 seconds, and we're going to see that kick back out, and then we're going to start offloading all of the propellant that's on board the rocket today. So if you are just tuning in, yeah, it's not going. There it goes. Back to T-minus 40. So again, we essentially turned today into a wet dress. So today still ended up being a test.
Still learning something as always.
Yeah, still learning something. We were able to fix the issue that kind of bit us yesterday, where we had a leaky hose that was feeding liquid oxygen into the ship. But we were able to fix that, but weather got us today. So no launch today. We do have a phenomenal logistics team, though, so we should hopefully be able to replenish prop, everything. We don't have to refill all the water tanks because we didn't fire off the deflector, but we'll have to reload the prop. So very good chance that we can try again tomorrow. We'll obviously update everybody online. And, yeah, man, sorry, we couldn't go today. Don't worry, we'll probably go tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you all for joining us today, and we hope to see you when we do go for launch.
So obviously, follow our account on X at SpaceX. We'll share information as soon as it comes available. We'll also be updating the web at spacex.com. So thanks for joining us today. Exciting countdown. Weren't able to get off the ground, but we'll give it another shot tomorrow. Thanks, everybody.
Okay, so sad news, they can't launch today because of weather. Not really surprised. We're all looking at the weather and we're like, So, I will say they got very close. They got me for a second. They're like, yeah, the range is green. I'm like, oh, are we good? And they're like, but weather's still red. I'm like, so I will make another stream tomorrow around probably 6:45 this time. 6:30 was a little early. I think 6:50 was definitely a little too short, but only by like 5 minutes. So bummer. See us again. I'll just have to wash the shirt tonight so I can wear it again tomorrow for good luck. But yeah, so unfortunate times that we had to scrub again, but it was a wet dress rehearsal, and they haven't done that since flight 5, maybe 6. So womp womp, but again, we'll come back tomorrow, and hopefully weather will not get in our way. I will stay on. She can leave if she wants to. I will stay on and discuss weather for a tiny bit, and then I will log off the stream, and then we will talk again tomorrow. Another 24 hours. We're so close. We're so close. Bye. Thanks for joining me. SpaceX mom out. Ridiculous. So, yeah. Weather violation, again, it's a bummer, but we kind of all sort of expected it. So, but, you know what? Again, rather be safe than sorry. We'd rather not have this thing tumble or get electrocuted by lightning, so... I, again, am going to be discussing weather just for a teeny tiny bit, not too long, but I will be discussing weather just for a tiny bit. I will stay on. Again, I'm very sorry for all the people that have been sitting for an hour and 30 minutes for this, but yeah, so, I think the cloud that they were, talking about would be... Yeah, okay. So it would be that cloud right there is, I think, what they were tracking. Or, no, actually, you know what? I think it was the one right here, because the launch site is, like, right there, so... Yeah, again, unfortunate. Let's go ahead, let's go check out the weather for tomorrow. Tomorrow, personally, is not looking too much better from... I mean, that's just observation, looking too much better from today and yesterday, but... So day scattered thunderstorms. So let's check the hourly, because that it does give me the hourly. So, alright, so Browns, okay, this does feel a little better. So, at 6 p.m. it will be partly cloudy, 7 p.m. again partly cloudy. So hopefully, they can launch tomorrow. It was a bummer that they couldn't launch today, but again, it's not the end of the world. They didn't say, oh, we're not going to launch at all. They just said that we're not going to be launching today. So, yeah. I, again, will be checking out the weather. I will keep you guys updated. Again, I will update you on X and YouTube as well through the community tab. Again, if you would like one of these very great coasters, go ahead and please check them out or DM me on X, and I will either DM me on X or comment in one of my videos you want one, and I will be very happy to give you one. So yeah, again, very unfortunate that they couldn't do it this time, but to be fair, I probably should get some sleep. I have not gotten the best sleep the last couple days, so yeah. Again, we will try again tomorrow around 6:30, same time, Eastern. That would be 7:30, or sorry, 6:30, UTC, or UCT, which is, or CUT. I don't remember what it is. It's Central Time. So, 7:30 or 6:30 Central Time, 7:30 Eastern Time, and then around 3:30 Pacific Time. So, yeah. Please don't forget to join my stream again tomorrow for the 3rd day in a row. This time I probably won't put a scrubbed thing on it. I'll just put wet dress rehearsal instead of scrub. So, and then tomorrow will be 3rd time's a charm. So again, thank you guys so much for watching all of my content. Don't forget to like to tell the YouTube algorithm that I am doing good. If you would like to, please consider subscribing to support me and my efforts. And thank you guys so much for watching my videos and my streams and my shorts, and for subscribing and liking. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. And I will see you guys next time. This is Matthew from Space Exploration. Peace, guys.